Hey guys, Missy Kane. So glad you're tuning into Fit and Fun. Today I'm going to be a little bit out of my element, but I need to learn more about yoga. I went paddleboarding, and we're going to talk about paddleboarding and yoga somehow at the same time. And we'll do some warm-ups like this first. Amber, welcome on the show.
Thank you.
And tell everybody who you are, what you do. You do a lot of things.
I do a lot of things. My name's Amber Boone, and I'm a yoga instructor, and I also teach SUP yoga, the stand-up paddleboard yoga. So I do that a couple of different places around Knoxville.
And you work at Regal.
Yes, I also work at Regal Cinemas, so in the real estate department.
So busy gal. So I'm going to have Amber teach a lot of this. We're going to do some just kind of back and forth twists. That'll kind of get our low back warmed up a little bit. And at the same time, we've got some pictures that Amber, I got some from her website. Tell me what your website is again.
It's bepresent100.com.
So if you just Google Be Present 100, I found you too.
Yeah.
Because that is you out at Norris, I believe.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Norris Paddling Adventures.
Now that is cool. I don't know if I can do that on land. And are people really kind of buying into this, thinking, "Oh, this is fun"?
Yeah, I've had several classes already this year. So and I've only had one person fall in. So, and I've had them come out and they've never done paddleboarding, never done yoga, and they've been successful. So you kind of do what you can.
That's pretty Norris. But you're also now, I'm really active with Legacy Parks, and I saw your name down there and talked to some guys outdoor Knoxville.
Yes.
Right in downtown Knoxville, you can do this.
I'm at Billy Lush brand. So I'm doing a Saturday morning class at 8:30, the SUP yoga, and then I'm also doing some land classes there too, and sometimes we take it outside.
Cool.
So.
Okay, well, I was doing that the other day, and that's when I talked to Chris Helwick, an old track guy, a friend of ours, and I didn't try yoga that day, but stand-up paddleboard, it's really pretty a quick learn. So,
it is.
And I even used,
The boards are really stable.
Yeah, and I use my shoes on
yeah,
it.
you
I was going to say, you don't have to go barefoot, but you
don't.
can. So
yeah.
What are some easy warm-ups that you would do with someone like me on a paddleboard or even on land?
Usually I will start out seated on the paddleboard, and we do some ab work.
Okay.
And then we work our way up to standing, because that's a little bit easier to start on the mat.
Okay, I'm going to follow Amber. I've got a frog in my throat, but I think it's gone now. I'm okay. So let's start out, and I'll follow you.
So usually we're on our knees.
Okay.
So we'll come down to our knees, and I'll just go ahead and bring your feet around in front. So if we're on the paddleboard, and I'll usually just start out with some crisscross move, or Pilates moves, I guess. So you take your hands behind your head and take that shoulder up towards that opposite knee, and switch back and forth. So just kind of warming up that core, those abs too.
So if you're on a paddleboard too, I mean, it's almost like the big balls that people use.
Yeah, it
Stability
definitely
balls.
Makes your core
Work
kick
a
into
lot
gear.
harder.
Yeah. So you're probably moving a little bit slower than you would on land.
Paddleboard, though, if you haven't tried it before, a lot of people think, oh, there's no way I could do it. But really, I think for a lot of people, it's maybe a 15-minute curve that they can do.
It is. Like I said, you'll be surprised at how stable the boards are. And then I'll always bring it up to seated, and maybe just do a stretch, bringing our feet together.
Okay.
Kind of a butterfly stretch, and just leaning forward, kind of stretching out our hips a little bit.
And you've trained a lot of hours to train to teach yoga.
I have. I have my 200-hour through Yoga Alliance. So I'm proud of that. It took me a couple of years, but.
Well, yoga's one thing I need to get more involved with. I'm a hiker, biker, but boy, I get inflexible.
Yeah.
And I think I do work a little bit on balance, but for a lot of people, yoga, even once a week, could really help their balance.
Yeah, it definitely improves your balance, your strength, your flexibility. It hits everything. Go ahead, stretch your legs all the way out, and we'll take it to a seated forward fold. So you can bend your knees a little bit if you need to here. And we're just going to hinge from the hips and walk our hands down. So you're stretching the backs of those legs.
Yeah.
Just an easy stretch.
I can feel that.
I try to get people, especially in the SUP yoga classes, I try to get them comfortable on the board before we get to the more standing poses that are a little bit more challenging.
Right. And the boards they're all different, but I do know when I went to Billy Lush, the board I used there seemed more stable to me.
They're wider, and they've got mats, so
yeah,
it definitely helps with your grip. Now we'll go ahead and walk those hands back up, and then we'll move to our knees. So we'll go ahead and bring those feet in and take it to our knees. And I like to warm up here, or continue warming up with some cat-cows.
Oh, yeah.
So just taking it up and back down. And in a regular vinyasa flow class, I like to add that breath and that movement. So we inhale when we open up the heart, and then exhale as we come up. And then we bring it back out to neutral here. Draw those abs up towards the spine. And we're just going to switch that opposite arm, opposite leg, reach it out.
Okay.
And sometimes if you're on the paddleboard especially, I'll just say reach one or the other out.
Because this is great for balance, but it's great for your low back. I mean, it's balance and your low back muscles.
And just go ahead and switch it to this other side.
And Regal, I was very impressed when I was out there a few weeks ago for an opening for a bridge to their park, because they're really trying to encourage all you guys to exercise. So that's great.
They are. And sometimes I'll just switch back and forth, just a little flow to the movement. This is easier on land than it is on the paddleboard, so you have to go a little bit slower. But that's what makes it fun too. Adds a little bit.
And I will say, I've enjoyed the Tennessee River, where my family was out Sunday with Billy Lush. But you can go to different coves, Iams, Meads Quarry, where it's a little calmer.
Paddleboarding's getting more popular, so it's growing, which I love. I think it's fun to do, even if you don't do yoga on the paddleboard. Paddleboarding in itself is fun. I'll switch it out one more time, bring it back in, and we'll take it to that first downward dog.
Okay.
So we'll go ahead and curl those toes under, lift those knees up, and send those hips up and back. And here, I like to look in front and slide forward to that plank. So just bring those shoulders over those wrists. And you also have the option to drop those knees here.
I'll try to do the harder way.
And then I just slide back and forth a few times. From plank to downward dog. This is also a good warm up.
I feel it in my calves and my hamstrings.
Planks, I think, are one of the best workouts you can do.
I agree. It looks easy, but until you try it.
Yeah.
You can't do it a long time, but they're packing a lot of strength work.
And we'll go ahead and slide it forward here to that plank and hold it. And on the paddleboard, I may have everybody drop their knees to the mat and then move that left hand to the center. And maybe take that left knee underneath that hip.
Okay.
And then take that right leg long and reach up with the right hand. But now on land, we can obviously do it with both legs stretched out if we want to. But on the paddleboard,
this is a good beginner way to start this too, though.
Yeah,
for people watching our
show. A good beginner,
yeah.
And sometimes I like to add an oblique twist, so we'll reach that right arm through that left window and reach it back up. Do a few of those.
If you're just joining us, this is Amber Boone, who teaches yoga and does paddleboard yoga too, different sites around Knoxville, Norris.
Let's try one more on this side. And we'll bring it back to the center, and we'll switch sides. It's okay, move that right hand. That's a good one.
Turn that foot.
Okay. And reach it up and through. Yeah, and it kind of works your core.
I like it. Yeah, it's getting a little rotation in even my hips.
Yeah.
A little bit. That's the thing. If you're a hiker, or a biker, or walker like me, sometimes we just are doing one-dimensional. We're using those muscles the same way too often, and we get tight.
True. One more. And then we'll go ahead and bring it back into the center here. And like I was telling you earlier with that chaturanga, we'll go ahead and try it out. I often have people start on their knees, and you set up like you're in a knee plank position, but you lead with that heart. So you go a little bit forward with that heart because we're trying to line those elbows over those wrists. So we're lowering down, and then we're going to push back up and bring it back to either child's pose or just, you don't have to go all the way back. And then bring it back out. Try it again. So just lead with that heart. So that's that chaturanga. You're hugging those elbows in to the rib cage instead of a push-up going out. Yeah, you hug them in. Yeah.
Okay. That's a good cue.
And that kind of helps protect those shoulders too. And then we'll try one more. And then we'll bring it back to our downward facing dog one more time. So go ahead, bring it up and back. Walking those feet in a little bit. And sometimes I like to move around in that downward dog. Moving those heels up and down.
Calves there, yep.
Because I think some people think they got to stay like rigid in the pose, and you can kind of move around. You don't have to. All right, we're going to take that right foot and reach it up to the sky.
This must be a little scary on the board.
It is. It's a little challenging, but it's not too bad. We're going to bring that knee in and bring it all the way forward for that warrior one. And we'll reach those arms up. So once you set that foundation with those feet, reach the arms up. And we'll add a little twist here. So bring those hands together and down to heart center. And we're going to twist towards that right side. So just a gentle twist.
Boy, it looks so easy, you guys out there, but you got to try it because I'm working it just to hold the position. Amber's not working as hard. It comes a little more natural for her.
Bring it back into the center. And we'll take it hands back down to the mat. We're going to step back to downward dog. Let's go ahead and switch it out to that other side. So reach that left leg up, bend that knee, and guide it through. Plant it on that mat. You can move it up with that hand once you get it there. Make sure that knee's over that ankle. And then bring it up. We'll add that twist on this side, bringing those hands together, down to center, and then twist towards that left side.
I can feel this in my hip flexors a little bit and adductors.
And bring it back around to the center. Take those hands back down to the mat. We'll step back to our downward dog one more time. Walk those feet. And this time we're going to step up
and I think we're showing my Fit and Fun website or number, but you just keep going. They'll see it.
Oh, okay. We'll step up to that forward fold. So we walk those feet up to meet those hands. Now here you want to really lengthen through that spine. So we can bend those knees here if we need to touch that mat. You want to get those ribs close to those thighs.
Okay.
But you still want to be lengthening, so you want to relax that head and neck. And like I said, bend those knees as much as you need to. And maybe take those hands and clasp them behind you. Kind of draw those shoulders.
Yeah, feel that more.
Back and down. Open up through that heart. We'll release those hands back down to the mat. Take a big inhale. We'll reach them all the way up overhead. And exhale at the top. Bringing those hands to heart center. And just kind of bringing them down. Exhaling.
That's good. Let's take a water break. I guess you don't take a water break on a board. You're on the board, but
hopefully not, unless we fall in.
Now, do you teach these as there's a 541-4500 if people want to call me for anything about Fit and Fun, or if you want to get in touch with Amber, I can get you there about my hikes, whatever. But how much do these generally cost? Do you buy a package of these, or just depends?
The SUP yoga classes are $25, and that's for the board rental and the class.
That's good.
Yeah, I think that's pretty reasonable.
That is
we
good.
tried to keep it reasonable. So.
That is good. Okay, we did some of our beginning moves, which seemed tough for me, but I can do it. And you adapt it, like the child's pose. I need to do that with my knee being stiff, but you just adapt it how you need to. Right. Okay, so we're back on the board, guys. I think we're back on the board. Act like you're on your paddle board.
We're back on our board. And I like to just start, if we're standing, bringing those hands, just reaching them up, kind of bringing them together, and back down to heart center. And just kind of connecting with your breath, especially we're out in nature on the board, and just connecting with that breath. And balancing is a challenge in and of itself, especially on the board. And then we'll bring those hands up. And as we come back, we'll take it back to that chair pose. So we'll put a bend in those knees and squat back.
So notice on the board, even if I look back to check on my husband or whatever, when I turn my head, it's you're challenged a little bit.
And we'll add a little twist here. So we'll take those hands and place them on that right leg. You keep those knees lined up here. Keep those hips in place. I'll bring it back to the center and over to the other side.
I think yoga would be good. I think more offices are doing some yoga classes, even a short yoga class.
Right. Just something to get you
de-stress
moving.
And also to strengthen.
Bringing it back in, holding here, and fold and forward. And we'll bring it up halfway, so we'll bring those hands to the shins and look out in front, making a flat top with that back. Fold forward. And sometimes I'll add this flow, taking your hands, reach them all the way up. Bring them together, back to that chair pose. Fold forward. Then we look back up, bringing it halfway. Fold. All the way, reach up. And back down to chair. Fold. Halfway up.
We're a little over halfway through our show, so y'all are doing great. About 10 more minutes.
Forward. All right, one more. Take it up.
And there you can find me on Facebook and Twitter, and you can find also Be Present 100. Mm-hmm.
And that's my Twitter handle too. Fold forward. One more time, all the way, reach up. Bring those hands just to center here. We'll stay here. And you want to try tree pose?
Yes, I'll try tree pose.
We don't do this so much on the board because these poses are really challenging.
So Amber does the board yoga and non-board yoga, so you can kind of mix the two, correct?
Okay. Yes, you can. I have done this one on the board, but it proves to be challenging. Right foot, we root it. And then we take that foot, and you can bring it to your ankle, so your left foot's still kind of touching. You can bring it to your calf or on up to your thigh.
Working a lot of muscles to try to keep this pose. My lower leg is really working.
Yeah, and too, I always tell people, kind of lift up out of that right hip. So grow it nice and tall, and then grow your spine. Drop the shoulders. You can even reach the arms up once you get there. And bring it back in. We'll go ahead and sit that foot down. Switch sides.
Okay.
Maybe walk them out. Left foot root.
Maybe this one's better. You know how we have our dominant foot.
I know. Some sides are better than the other. Bring that right foot in. Like I said, grow that left hip nice and tall. Grow that spine.
We got about 6 more minutes. Y'all are doing good out there. Try some of this. How young a student have you had try this?
And we'll go down. I had a 12-year-old.
Yeah, okay. Gracie, my 13-year-old loves paddleboard, and I could see her trying this.
Yeah, he did great. He was a trooper. So, but a lot of people, yoga's intimidating to a lot of people, which I understand because there's different poses and you have to learn those. But
it's good for everybody, you know, athletes to older people like me that are working on their balance. So,
and it's one of those things you just have to do a few times.
Right. We've got about 5 more minutes if you want to do any warrior poses or anything different. Oh, we've got about 5 more minutes.
You want to try warrior 2?
I will.
We'll step that left foot forward and turn that right foot out. So here you kind of open up the hips a little bit more in this warrior 2. Stretch those arms out. Drop and relax those shoulders.
Looking good. Working
Let's
that.
take it.
That's getting some muscle, you know, working your shoulders just in this position, holding.
Yeah. And we'll take it to that triangle pose. So go ahead, straighten that front leg. And we'll just take it down.
Good stretch in your shoulder. I can feel it up in my shoulder stretching even.
My hip always pops usually in this one.
Now, do you do this on the board? I guess you can.
Yeah, we can.
Okay.
Bring it back to that warrior 2, so put a bend back in that front knee, stretch those arms back out. Let's take it to that reverse warrior, so reach up with that left arm. Kind of open up that rib cage.
I forget about this one.
And we'll go ahead and take it back to warrior two. We'll cartwheel those hands down, so bring those hands back. Step back to our down dog for a second, stretch out.
Okay.
And if you want to transition, we'll transition to that, or bring that right leg up, bend that knee, bring it through, plant it on the mat. And then we'll turn that back foot flat. Bring it for warrior two on this side.
I really did on some of my hikes. I lead a lot of hikes, and at the lunch break, I had our group who wanted to. We were doing some yoga poses.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we laughed about it, but it's like I think it would be good for us to do because you hike for an hour and a half and sit down and get back up and hike, and so
Absolutely.
you get a little tight in that low back, especially.
We'll
and
go
the
ahead and
quads.
straighten that front leg. Triangle pose.
Okay, they're probably telling me we have about 5 more minutes.
We'll take it back
About
to
4. Good.
warrior two. Or reverse warrior. And back to warrior two. We'll bring those hands back down to the mat. Step back to downward dog. And move those heels up and down.
They're a little more flexible now.
Yeah.
I can tell I can get my heels down better.
Now we'll go ahead and slide forward to that plank and drop those knees. So at the end of class, I usually go back to that seated position,
Okay.
bringing those feet out in front. Maybe do a little twist here, bringing that right foot in. And you can cross it over if that feels okay to you, and take that left arm, kind of hug it around that leg, and look back behind
Oh,
you.
I like a pretzel stretch. We just got a couple more minutes. Good cool down. Oh, yeah, I can feel it.
And bring it back around in front. We'll switch sides.
So in a way, if you're doing your board yoga, paddle yoga like you do, you can get kind of hot yoga on a hot day.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we
Naturally hot
definitely
yoga.
sweat, yeah.
This is good for my neck, just looking back a little bit. I can feel it in my upper neck.
And we'll go ahead and bring it back around in front. And we usually end with our Shavasana, which is always nice,
Mm-hmm.
either on the paddleboard or in
Or
class.
in class,
Yeah,
right.
a little meditation, which
Right.
I think is very important too.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as important as moving.
Right, and just
And
de-stressing.
exercise.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got about 2 more minutes, so you guys are still in this position. Y'all can feel the back of your hamstrings,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
definitely still feel this.
Mhm.
Also, another one you can do to kind of open up those hips, bringing that left foot in and kind of you can either bring it beside you
Mhm.
or bring that left foot up on top of that
Oh,
right.
yeah.
And you can just stretch it forward. You'll feel that in your hips.
Piriformis right
Yeah.
here. You runners out there, you have very tight. We have unusually tight piriformis, and we need to work on that.
Yeah, this is a good one for the hips.
And you could do that on the board, I guess, if you were very balanced.
You can. This one's not so bad. Most of the seated ones are okay.
And if you can't feel this, like you said, if you go forward a little bit, you're going to feel it.
You can, and you can also, more advanced is bringing that other
Whoa.
leg in,
Oh, yeah.
stacking that ankle.
I'll let you do the more advanced. I'm going to switch to the other side.
Yeah, it's a tougher one.
Oh, I can feel this. Well, thank you for taking me through this.
Well, thank you for having me.
I didn't fall off my board or anything. But again, if you guys see at the end, the Missy Fit Fun page on covenanthealth.com, and also my number. If you get in contact with me, I'll get you in contact with her. And also, it's Be Present 100, right? You
Yes.
can Google that and find
Yes.
it. Well, thank you guys. And remember, life is much more fun when you're fit, and this is part of fitness. So keep working out and try a little yoga. Try to mix it up. Do a little yoga sometime. Oh, that feels good.
It does feel good.